Hello everyone and welcome back to another Digital Den mini class. This is part 3 for our Computer Basics series. We have talked about how to use the computer mouse and the keyboard. Today we will be diving into the online world, talking about the internet. Now, the internet is a vast and massive place, so of course we will not be going over every single thing, but we will be giving you enough to get you started. So if you have never used the internet before, you should be able to, at the end of this video, get online to be able to start navigating the online world. We will be talking about browsers, as well as going over what links are, websites, and then lastly, we'll be talking about search engines so that you can start looking things up online, doing research, and expanding your knowledge. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this Digital Den mini class started. All right, let's go ahead and dive into part 3 of our Computer Basics class here, talking all about the internet. Let's first talk about browsers. What exactly is a browser? It's pretty easy to explain and understand. It is a program that allows for you to get online and get access to the internet to look at all kinds of different web pages that are out there. There are many different types of browsers that are out there. There is Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, just to name a few, and there's a bunch more out there other than those. But which one's the best for you? Well, it's really up to you and a matter of preference. Google Chrome is my preferred one just because I like the way that it interacts with my email. But there are many different reasons why you may want to use Firefox or Safari or any other kind. So it's really up to you. But because I like Google Chrome the most, that's going to be the one that I focus on in this video here. But like I said, they're all pretty much the same. So let's go ahead and dive in to Google Chrome. Alrighty, so I am sharing my screen here, and as you can see, I've got 3 different browsers over here on the left side of my computer screen here. And like we learned in lesson 1, I'm going to use the double click function to be able to open up Google Chrome. I'm going to double click on that. That's going to open it up for me. Don't worry about this. If this is your first time opening Google Chrome here, I'm just going to click on this button that says guest mode here. Okay. Alrighty, so the screen that you are looking at, or that you would be looking at when you open up Google Chrome, is probably different than the one that I'm looking at here. But the first screen that you see is called a home page. All of that is in this area here. Let me maximize the screen here. All of this white space here below this bar up here is called your home page, and that is the location of that your browser has said will be the first place that you see whenever you open up the browser. So since I'm on guest, there isn't anything, but normally my homepage is actually a blank page that just shows me my most recently viewed web pages or my most favorite places that I go often. I prefer that over a specific place because it makes it a lot faster for me to just click on whatever it is that I've been to before or what I would like to be able to go to. But since we're in guest mode here, we're going to have to type in a website to be able to go someplace and start navigating the internet. Before we do that, I'd like to explain everything that is up here along the top. First, we've got this big bar that stretches from one side to the other side of our browser here. You can see it's kind of highlighted in blue right now. This is called your URL bar. A URL is basically a link or an address that you are going to type in to be able to go to a website. An address, like a web address, is very similar to a physical address in that if you type in the exact location, it will take you to the exact place that you want to go. Whereas like a physical address, if I go to your exact address, I will end up at your house, for example. So that is what this bar is here. We will be using that in a minute, so you'll understand that a little bit better coming up here shortly. These arrows here on the left the side here, we've got the left arrow and the right arrow. This is your back and forward arrow. So let's go ahead and type in a website. We're going to type in google.com. Okay, this is a great starting website. This is what is called a search engine, which I will be going into what that is coming up here in a little bit. But maybe I don't want to go to google.com. I'd like to go back to the homepage that we were on. So what I can do is I can click on this back arrow here, and that'll take us right back to our starting screen, our homepage. But if I decide, you know what, I'd rather actually go back to Google, I don't have to type it in. I can click on the forward button and we can go right back to where we were. All that makes sense? It's kind of like the rewind and fast forward button on your old school VCR. Next, we've got this up here. This is the X, as well as we've got the plus symbol here. These are this right here is a tab. And if I click on the plus symbol, I can get another tab to be able to look at multiple different websites at one time. So think of a department store, for example. This will allow for us to be able to look at every section of the department store at a time. We could look at if we are, we've got a lot of different things that we're going to be buying at this virtual Walmart. So maybe on this website, this tab here, we want to find some shoes. So, I could type in shoes here, and then we could find all kinds of different information on shoes. Maybe on this one, I need to get groceries, so I can type in groceries. And I can get a bunch of information on that. Then the tab will allow for us to be able to look at all of these different departments or these different sections of the internet all at the same time. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Hopefully that I'm explaining that correctly for you. But a tab is basically just allowing for you to be able to navigate different websites without having to you type it all in again up here and then switch back and forth by continuing to type in the website that you want to go to. Okay. You can close a tab by clicking on the X button right here, and that will allow for us to slim up the amount of tabs that we have open. Now, you might be thinking, well, what if I just open up all of the tabs for all the places I could ever want to visit? Well, it's a little bit of a complicated answer here, but you don't want to do that because it could slow down your computer. So it's good to limit the amount of tabs that you have open at a time. And if you are a beginner when it comes to getting online, I would say limit it to no more than 5 different tabs open at once. If you get into 20 and 30 different tabs open, you may start to feel like things are running a little bit sluggishly, and that may be that it's time to start closing some of your tabs, right? Okay, so that is those buttons. This button right here is your refresh button. This is the button that it's like your try again button if maybe something fails, or it's kind of like your start over button if you'd like to be able to reload the page. Think of it as maybe you've got a gas lawnmower that takes multiple pulls to be able to get started. Sometimes on a website, you will click on something and it won't go right away. It's just not working the way that you want it. It's going to sit there loading and loading and loading. Well, if you hit this refresh button, it may jumpstart it, restart it, just like that lawnmower that you pull it once and it's not that gas lawnmower. It's just not going. You pull it again, it's still not going. You pull it a third time and it roars to life. And then you can get to mowing the grass, right? Right? Got a lot of analogies today, I guess. So that is the reload button. We've gone over these arrows here. We've talked about the URL bar where we can type in our links, and we've talked about the different tabs here. Something I have not gone over in the first couple of sections of our basics computer class here that I should go over, and it's actually universal on all programs, basically. Well, not all programs, but most. So we got this X button here in the top right-hand corner. This is our close button. Just like how on our tabs, if I clicked on the X here, I could close one of the tabs. If I click on the X in the top right-hand corner, that would actually close the entire program. So whenever we're done with the browser, we'll just hit the X and it'll go away. This square button right here, this is our resize button. This will allow for us to be able to change the size of our browser. And it works again, just like that, the same with the X on most other programs. So if I click on this, you'll see that the size of the of the web browser will change shape here. It'll get a little bit smaller. What I can then do is I can move my mouse over one of the sides of the browser here, and I can click and drag that to be able to adjust it to the size that I want for it to be. Now, one of the cool things about Windows 10 is I can actually click on the browser here at the top. And when I do that, I can actually drag it around and I can move the browser where I'd like for it to be. Now, I can only do that on an area that isn't a tab. So if I click on, well, okay, nope, I just lied to you. Sorry, you can do it on a tab too. I misunderstood. So if you click anywhere along the top here, what we can do is I can drag it all the way to the left-hand side. And then you'll kind of see this little weird pop-up. And then boom, it is going to make it so that the left side of my screen is all that one thing. And if I've got something else open, I can click on it, and then I'm basically split screening my computer screen here to allow for me to be able to look at multiple things at once. Now, I've got Zoom open right now. It's the program I'm using to record this video. And notice up here in the top of Zoom, you can still see the X and the square button, but there's also the minimize button, just like there is over here on our browser. And what that minimize button will do is it will remove the program, but it won't close it. It'll just bring it down here to the bottom of our screen. So I can click on it again. I can click on that, and it'll bring it right back up to where it was. But we don't need Zoom right now. We just need our browser. And so here we are back to full screen. You can full screen it by clicking on it and dragging it to the top of your screen. It will make that little bubble again, just like it did on the half size screen. You can also click on the square to be able to bring that to full size. All right, so we have learned about the basics of the browser. Let's go ahead and start talking about links. I've already typed in one. I've gone to google.com. That is a search engine, but maybe you want to go someplace else. Maybe you have a website link already written down, like, for example, from the last episode of the Computer Basics series. At the very end, I gave you a few different links that you could go to be able to improve upon your typing. So for example, one of them was ZType, which is zty.pe. Oops, get rid of all that. zty.pe. Type that in, and that's going to take us to that website that I was telling you guys about in the last episode here, where we can practice our typing. But I don't actually want to go to ZType here. I don't want to play that game right now. I'm going to click close on that, and we can type in another link to be able to get to where we want to go. Now, I've used the words link and I've used the words website, but what's the difference between a link and a website? Well, a website is like the umbrella of the entirety thing. Like if it's a corporation, it's the whole company, whereas a link is just one specific entity of that. So one thing that you might do getting online is you may be curious about the weather. So if I type in weather.com, we can go to the website to be able to learn about the weather. Now, the weather.com, this is the Weather Channel website. And so the website is the Weather Channel, right? But getting to this website doesn't actually tell us what the weather is because it needs to know where we are. So we'll have to type in Kokomo on the search there. We can pull that up. And there we are. We are on our on Kokomo, and we can adjust through if we want to look at hourly. We can click on that. We can look at the 10-day forecast, all kinds of different things to be able to give us an idea of what the weather is going to be like here in Kokomo. Now, take a look at this URL bar up here. We got a lot of long string of numbers here. It would be ridiculous for us to try to remember to type in weather.com/weather/10day/I/ all these other things, right? Get rid of that little ad there. So what I can do is I can just go to, click the back button to be able to get us all the way back to the beginning here, weather.com. Now that's a much easier website to be able to type in. So we can just get to weather.com, And now that I've typed in Kokomo, you'll see that it appears here. It remembers us. That's the nice thing about getting online, is that the more times that we do it, the more times that it'll remember the things that we've done, and it will allow for us to be able to get to things faster. So I can just click on this button that says Kokomo, and it'll take me right to the Kokomo weather section of the website. Okay. So we've learned about links. We've learned about websites, we've learned about browsers, and now it is time to learn about search engines, okay? So since you are new to the online world, you probably don't know a whole bunch of websites that you're gonna wanna go to. So let's go to google.com. This is a search engine. There's a bunch of different ones out there, but Google is my favorite one, and it's also the most used search engine on the internet, okay? The cool thing about any search engine is that you can basically type in anything and it'll give you results based on what you typed in. So say, for example, I'm looking for a location that I can buy shoes. I can type in shoes and it'll bring me up a bunch of different things here. Now, learning all about what there is to know about a search engine would be an entire video on its own. So I'm just going to give you the basics to get you started using a search engine so that you can navigate the internet, okay? But one thing that you should know is right here at the top, it says ads. Anything that says ads is something that a company is paying for to have spot there. So if it's here at the very top, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best option for you. It's probably just been paid for by whatever the company is. So I can scroll down here and I can see a number of different places that sell shoes here in Kokomo. I can also come up here at the very top and I can see there's different shopping options. I can see that there are maps and I can even see pictures. So if I'm just looking for pictures of shoes, I can click on images and we can see all kinds of different pictures of a wide variety of shoes. Look at these with the wheels on them there. That's kind of neat. But if I'm looking for a place that I can go to be able to walk in and then buy those shoes, I may click on the maps and look at that, all kinds of different shoe stores right there. And the nice thing is that if the location services are on, which they probably are on the computer that you're using, it will likely tell you shoe stores that are nearby first. So for example, Williams Shoes, Rack Room Shoes, Finish Line, Shoe Carnival, they're all pretty close to us in this area. And so if you didn't know where to buy shoes, but you wanted to, you could just type that in on a search engine and it'll get you there. Okay. Maybe you're looking for restaurants. Well, that's going to work the same way. So you can just type in the word restaurants. And the nice thing is that Google tries to help you and it tries to finish the word for you. So as you see, I just typed in RES and restaurants has popped up here. I can just click on the search icon there or the word restaurants, and it's going to bring up a wide variety of all the restaurants. And you can see a map here on the right-hand side of all of the different things. Now, using our mouse skills that we learned in the first part, we can zoom in and out on the mouse wheel to be able to look or scroll up and down on the mouse wheel to be able to zoom in on different parts. We can click and drag to be able to move the map around, and we can easily navigate the map that way. If there's a specific location that we want to see what that is, we can click on it. So say, for example, we're curious about this Don Ponchos. We can click on it. Okay, and it's going to pull up some more information about Don Ponchos over here, including their address, their hours, their social media, their phone number, and all of that. Okay, let's go back to Google. Let's go back to the start here. And we don't need the weather open anymore, so we can close that tab. So search engines, you can type in all sorts of different things to be able to get results there. I'm going to have to do another video to be able to go dive deeper into the search engines, just because there's some not great information that you can find on search engines. But as long as you're looking for really basic stuff, the sky's the limit there for you. There's also an interesting button here that I wanted to tell you about called I'm Feeling Lucky. And so what you can do is you can type in, say, for example, I would like to book a flight. I could type in book a flight or something like that. And then I could click on this button that says I'm feeling lucky, and it'll just immediately take me to whatever the first website that pops up is. Okay. So you can see up here, I'm no longer on google.com, and now I'm on americanairlines.com or aa.com to be able to book my flight. That's another tool that could be helpful for you when it comes to navigating the online world. If you don't want to have to scroll through a whole bunch of different options to find where you want to go, you can hit that I'm feeling lucky button, and hopefully it'll take you exactly where you want to go. Okay, so we've gone over browsers, links, web pages, and our websites. Web pages, websites, same thing. And search engines. So that is going to cover all of the basics of getting on the internet. So I hope that you will get on and you will start taking a look and seeing what all kinds of fun things that you can accomplish on the internet. Coming up next week, we will be talking about email so that you can have your own email address. We'll show you how to make one, and we'll even show you all of the general basics of that, and even how to integrate that with your browser if you're using Google Chrome, to be able to make things easier and easier each time that you get online. So I hope that you'll come back for the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time in Digital Den Mini Classes.